So hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Amesie's Automotive Corner. How are you all doing out there? So what I have to show you today is this 1977 International Harvester Scout 2. Now, it's not really just a Scout 2. This is the Super Scout version of it. This is a version that has a tonneau cover, factory tonneau cover, a factory roll bar, and these groovy little plastic door insert things that let you put fabric doors on there, the original fabric doors. When I first saw this, I really didn't remember the Super Scouts. I remember seeing them back in literature from the 70s where these were used for like the Baja 1000, and they did really well. A lot of championships, a lot of records were set with these. Pretty Spartan. But that's what makes a good off-road vehicle. You know, that's what makes a good 4x4. Is not a lot of bells and whistles, not a lot to go wrong. Really capable vehicles. I remember these always being in the trails when I was a kid. They just didn't fare very well. They rusted out real bad up here in New England. Well, we'll get this thing up on the lift and see just how bad it is inside. But it's pretty rough on the outside. Now, this needs a lot of body work. I'm hoping... look how thick this Bondo is. I'm hoping the frame and under chassis is all right on this, because I believe all these parts are available. Everything for these is available. It just comes down to a labor of love. And if you were going to put the labor and the love into an old International Scout, it probably the best bet is the Super Scout, the soft top. What is it, Safari soft top, or some people call it Super Scout. You know, Spartan and utilitarian the front end is. About as aerodynamic as a brick. But, you know, I don't know if these things go fast enough so the aerodynamics matters. Hood release way over here. This is also a 4-speed version. Really cool. Clamshell hood. Now, I believe this would be... This is 4-cylinder, right? I believe this is an International engine, and 196 cubic inch 4-cylinder. And boy, does it not look like a V8 engine just cut down the middle. Just the right bank of 4 cylinders from a V8. I wonder if that's how this motor was designed and developed. I mean, it looks like it, doesn't it? Let's see how it starts up. Little squeaky clutch pedal, but yeah, fires right up. Put a red brake light on. A little bit of water pump noise maybe. Real smooth of an engine. Well, alright guys, I'm gonna get this hood down. Let's go around the block and see how it drives. Then we'll get this thing up on the lift and see just what kind of shape it is underneath. But yeah, you see more of the body all bubbling rust. But this is gonna be going from here to the body shop and getting all fixed up, and I'm not sure how deep of a restoration, maybe just some new quarters, rockers, and fenders. But like I said, all that stuff's available, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. But yeah, let's go for that drive and see how it goes down the road. So, I'm going to have to be honest. This is one of my bucket list, or my have to drive bucket list vehicles right here. Seatbelt, even though it's not required by law in the state I'm in. A vehicle with open doors. I'm gonna wear a seatbelt. Maybe I got a little adjustment. Yeah, like I was saying, this is definitely on my bucket list of driving cars. Something I've always wanted to drive, but I never really thought I'd have the chance. Like I was saying, most of these up here in New England rotted out years ago. I don't think these are the factory seats. Anybody recognize these seats? They don't seem like they're correct. Maybe a little later. A little loose. That's the clutch pedal. like I was saying, just so smooth as silk. Oh, the shift is really tight. Wow. 4,000 miles. It's got to be 104,000 miles on the odometer. Oh, tilt steering wheel. Interesting. Boy, first gear is low. Probably pull a house down. Ooh. Brakes take a little extra effort. Feels like something might be dragging. Take a look when we get this on the lift what kind of front end it's got on it. Not a lot of power, not to be expected of a just under 200 cubic inch 4-cylinder, half a V8. Vibrations in the drive line. Corner's relatively flat. Feels like a diamond in the rough, or a diamond that's a little rough. Brakes aren't terrible. Third gear takes a little finesse. I think that's just the design. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Well, it's pretty much almost exactly what I expected it would be. Handles like I thought, accelerates like I would imagine. Take it for a drive in a desert or up some logging road or something. I wouldn't want to take it over anything really drastic off-roady, not, you know, but places I like to go off-road, I'd have a blast with this thing. Well, alright guys, let's get this thing up on the lift and see what makes it tick and what kind of condition it is inside underneath. Feels like it's going to be nice. Oh wow, tight turning radius. Well, usually you got to do a 2-point turn to get into the shop door, but nice and tight turning radius. Well, alright guys, I'm going to get this thing up in the air and let's see what it looks like underneath. Alright guys, let me grab my trusty filming light. So, what I expected to be a really rusty truck looks like a really rusty truck, but it's all just surface rust. That's the kind of the first thing I'm really looking at on this one is the frame, because that's the basis of a whole restoration on a vehicle like this. If the frame is junk, then you know you got to keep looking for a good donor vehicle. But from what I can see, this thing is in really great shape as compared to the exterior. That frame looks really excellent. Nothing really sticking out wrong with it. A few little issues. We got a leaking fuel pump. Let's see, it's gonna drip on command. Yeah, it's dripping, trust me. We'll tighten that up. Bunch of new little starter bits and stuff like that. We got the floors are, you know, not the worst I've ever seen, but everything around them is pretty bad. This rocker's gone, completely gone, but that's all forgettable, that's all fixable. This quarter is really bad, as you can see. But the sheet metal, that's all really is wrong with this, is sheet metal. You can see this side over here, you know, so it is what it is. We got a few prior repair patches here and there trying to keep it on the road, keep it out of the cabbage. But probably the issues we have that I see wrong with this, we got this wheel moves all right. This one here locked up a bit. We got a stuck caliper, pretty common issue on a vehicle that's obviously sat for a while. All these cobwebs. If you're afraid of spiders, this is not a job to take on. So all in all, exhaust, I like how tight up and into the frame rail it is. Nothing to get taken off going off-road. We got a little issue here, this yoke. That yoke is a little worn out. I can see the U-joint moving, the cap's moving inside of the yoke. That's probably all right for around town, but I wouldn't go down the highway with it. Not that this should go down the highway. We got a brake line right here. That's another thing you got to worry about on any old vehicle. This brake line's rusted out and leaking. That could go and you're going to lose your pedal. So not a very safe vehicle at the moment. Another weird thing I noticed this rear shackle here. See, we got 2 bolt holes and we're in the upper one. We come over here to the other side and we're in the lower hole. So somebody at some point in time was in a hurry. Not a big deal, but definitely something should be taken care of. So probably this truck's worst issue I see is, other than the body notwithstanding, is the metal brake line areas, hoses and fittings. Look how crusty, rusty that thing is. But otherwise, definitely a great base, a great starting point for a restoration. You could probably go 2 ways with this truck like this. Fix all of these brake lines, get the brakes sorted out, and then patch the body up as best as possible and enjoy it for a year or 2, and then do a frame off restoration, new quarters, fenders, the whole 9 yards. But being a Super Scout, it's definitely the version to restore, and it's definitely in the condition that's worth taking the time to keep this one out of the cabbage. Well, all right guys, I got some other stuff to fix. Leave questions and comments down below, much appreciated. Check out the Facebook group if you guys have any other questions you want to ask. It's a little easier to get a hold of me there. And yeah, scratch another vehicle to drive off of my want to drive bucket list. So anyways guys, on that note, and until next time, keep it out of the cabbage.